the #1 long-form writer that helps SEOs outrank competition at the click of a button using real-time research and NLP. Start ranking content today with contentatscale.ai.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
I had to just record on video there, the glasses. Highly recommend the Ray-Ban stories. So I'm James. I work for Quarter. We're a technology company building products for the search space. Quick little bit about the agenda. I think logs are cool. I've been working in SEO just a little bit before keyword not provided. And especially with generative AI coming and all these changes, log files are literally a encrypted cipher that each brand has to do a lot of cool stuff. We'll show some visuals, cool case studies, and what to do next. And again, this kind of assumes that you know some basics about logs and that it may be easy to get the logs as well. So just real quick about me. There's this analogy, the three-legged stool. I've worked at agencies, worked at in-house over at Skyscanner, and that was actually skyscanner.com. And if you ever see a old logo Skyscanner sticker out and about, it was probably placed by me. So if you do take a picture and see one, there may be a prize. But a little bit about Quarter. It's like having a search engine working for your team. Now, it is pronounced like financial quarter, and it is an acronym, which actually stands for quarter up and to the right. But essentially, we take all of your data. This is just a couple of things, and log files is, of course, one of those key data sets. Have a huge data lake, etc., actionable insights, and all workflows. But enough about Quarter. Let's get into the talk. So just want to do a quick poll first. So raise your hand if you look at Google Search Console every day. Now, keep your hand up. Let me just get this going here. Keep your hand up if you extract Google Search Console data via the API. Now, keep your hand up if you also use log data. Now, keep your hand up if you have that log data joined to your GSC warehouse in a data architecture system, etc. Now, here's bonus points. Anyone doing BigQuery export? Okay, cool. Yeah, these are some of the hottest things right now that I think are important to keep in mind. So, of course, why are we doing logs? We want to have some of this growth here. This is one kind of Series B client that we had. We got to, these are 100,000 GSC clicks, and of course a lot of pages, programmatic SEO site. Why logs? I think it's important to think of it as its own funnel with Google. So we know impressions, some clicks turn into sessions. Sessions, there's that initial engagement point, product activation, and then eventually there is a sale, replicated for paid search, of course. And again, this is just Google search. There's other search engines, other platforms. But with the bot crawling, there's, of course, how many times Google's crawling your website, and then that response as well. And like Alex mentioned before, the IPs we think are very important because you can almost just filter out all the user IPs, which as soon as you bring up, we're going to extract IP data, certain teams may cringe, especially in Europe with GDPR. But we're only looking at whitelisted IP addresses. Now, what we've seen already, and this is actually some very recent data, a large programmatic website. I'll get into more specifics here shortly, but massive overhaul on the sitemaps. There's actually thousands of sitemaps. So we assumed there was enough sitemaps there, but we did a whole overhaul. And we can see that total domain clicks, this is the full domain table in GSC, not the sampled page query table. And these are 200 status count crawls. So we were at a baseline of 20K a day approximately. Overhauled the sitemap, boom, 900K. But it could have been higher. We'll get into why. So where do we start? Let me make sure I got the timer here. The taxonomy is very key, especially as you're scaling your website. This is actually from a client over in India. Some anonymized data here, but to scale. This is one category, one kind of subdirectory. We then have a 3-level layer to the URLs, and then some URLs share geodata in the URL string, so we can even add on URL geo dimensions as well. And actually, if you combine the combinations of all these combinations here, there actually could be, tens of thousands of rows of cohorts of traffic. So once you have this, and this is just looking at the URLs, not the keyword data, which is a whole nother segmentation. So we have kind of this very baked into our taxonomy, pulling in all URLs from Google Search Console. With an a lot of the subdirectories, you can do a lot of this automated, etc. And here's some data where we have similar to high traffic pages and low traffic pages, but also adding that crawl layer on the categories. So each one of these is representative of a category of content, subdirectory breakdown, and it's sized by the number of URLs in that cohort. So we can see these low traffic, high crawl pages. We need to send more internal linking to some of these high traffic, low crawl pages, and also, of course, low traffic, low crawl pages. So once we have kind of a single category, we can go further. Now we're looking kind of at that subcategory level. It's great we have some outliers here. So these are kind of what we want to see, this upper right quadrant. Next, we need to build more internal linking to these other sections of the site to pass on all of that link juice, link flow, etc. Now, this is another view where we have 3 different categories here. And these are actually individual URLs in the category in a given quarter. And similar to what was mentioned by Alex, the query count, sized by the query count here. So like one of these URLs right there has literally 10,000 queries mapped to that single URL in a given quarter. And so sometimes there's those outliers there. So you need to do kind of page-specific internal linking in addition to kind of the template to template internal linking, or template to the same template internal linking. And some of these graphs look cool, but I've heard the critique, what do we do, right? These are best used kind of also in kind of the time series analysis. So this was the first month, this is month 3, and we're moving these bubbles, and we can see this correlation of a lot of clicks, a lot of crawl. Now, like I said, the graphs are cool, but what now? So we have a technology with internal linking AI, and unlike other kind of internal linking, there is we're kind of so focused on that Google Search Console data. Each page has its own unique kind of keyword profile. We match that up to any other pages versus just the page title or the URL. And these are kind of on-demand created via API. And as you refresh, you are creating dynamic content as the internal linking also is refreshed. Now, this is an example of one of those outputs with some of the source to target view. So these are individual URLs, and I've expanded here so we can see kind of 5 recommended URLs and some of the anchor text using generative AI. And again, unlike just page title or metadata ingestion, all of the URL's keywords are used to create that anchor text, and it's just a matter of opening this and typing in a prompt to modify it. Do you want all FAQ? Do you want more long tail? Do you want comparisons? It's just your imagination, really. So then we can look at it from the target URL statistics. So if we were to implement this type of linking run job, this page here would have 50 new internal links. And these would be some of the anchor texts created and some of the keywords chosen from the GSC data used to create that generative AI anchor text. Going a bit fast here. This is a view of kind of a word cloud of a single URL's anchor text that we have as well. So there's about 39 unique anchor text values. And you can see kind of just the whole GSC kind of corpus just immediately being able to kind of create something like this just immediately, actually. And then, like I mentioned too, that's kind of that scalable component building. A link pack, so at the bottom of the page, for example, or even up top of the page, literally having just 5 related links on those high crawled pages. And so that's kind of one of the main takeaways is, those high crawl pages, do you have the maximum internal links, right? And this is a view of kind of that single page flow. So we have, one of our articles up here. We wanted to generate 5 new links, internal links, outgoing links on this page. So we picked kind of 3 categories of content, site sections, and that will go through, look at all the keyword data compared to this page, and then find of those 4 chosen, what are the most relevant pages with the salience score out of all of that. Or you could pick 10, or you could pick 20, or whatever you want, actually. And here's another view of that. We have the outgoing links that we've generated, internal links from that page with the anchor text and the keyword that was designated there. Now, okay, let's get into some of the case study data, the end result. So again, back to this slide here. So this was very exciting, but about a 46% uplift, 8x with the crawl. So already we've kind of modeled out with the forecasting, but the real question is, could it have been higher, right? So this is why we have all of this other data as well. So for example, 500 server errors. You notice immediately, as soon as that 800K, 900K HTTP status happened, about 2,500 server errors, which from all of my experience and talking to others, the larger the programmatic site, 500 server errors are just like absolutely toxic. And we can see these patterns of server error spikes and then the crawl. And we can even layer on the GSC data over on top here. Now I do have another interesting insight here. Now this is coming from looking at the GSC data with the crawl, 200 status code crawl, when we started to integrate with this. And the clicks here, the clicks are actually for a specific drug containing the drug name. A very popular drug recently. And this content was originally created way back. I didn't pull the full history, but you can see in the back that the click-through rate was stable above 4%. And it did go, it has been increasing. So what we're seeing here is when you are creating that content and you are kind of satisfying the intent, the crawl is actually going, and the crawl rate is actually on the pages that those keywords are mapped to. So the crawl rate is going up in parallel as the traffic is improving. So basically, keep creating amazing content, your crawl is going to improve. So definitely as you're creating more popular pages, make sure you're adding internal links. So kind of a framework to kind of get started with logs. Of course, I mentioned having that taxonomy is very key to segment and figure out which parts of the site are getting crawled, which parts of the sites are having those server errors. And there's a lot of kind of calculated and derivative metrics you can create of percentage of crawled, et cetera, with that taxonomy. And then, of course, you need to combine other data sources. Log files are best used in relation with other data sources. Unless you are kind of a smaller site, you can definitely get insights just from it by itself, but the maximum insights come when it's linked, because then you can actually align it with ROI and conversion and things of that nature. And then that internal linking is just so key, and making sure it's very relevant. And like I said, looking at kind of that keyword corpus per page, making those matches, there's also the benefit of it's good for the users, because it is technically tangentially related content. So that's also kind of a snowball effect that can happen. And of course, all of this, when it's stored in a data lake and things of that nature, we can then have better forecasting models when we have and better alerting systems. So immediately, as soon as 500 errors are found, people are informed immediately. And also, as soon as Google is starting to crawl to a heightened level, that may mean the algorithm is coming very soon. And that's something I've also seen, that as soon as the crawl is going rampant across multiple domains, the algorithm update is coming. And then the other part of it too is, why is Google crawling this data? Google thinks it's important, so that's a pretty important signal. So mining all those keywords from those pages that are getting that heightened crawl, a lot of benefits for that, for all the generative AI content opportunities, et cetera. And just final bit, we do have a very special thing here. Only if you scan this here, we will give you free internal linking for 10,000 URL pairs. And definitely stop by booth 25. We're actually giving away PS5 and an Oculus. Do follow me on Instagram and also, or Twitter. Follow Quarter as well. And we will be sharing the deck as well as some other cool things. So thank you so much.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.